Other than that, no attendees.
Okay, we're live streaming.
Eric is here.
YouTube. Hey,
Hey, hello.
Whoa.
Can you hear me okay?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear
Yes.
you, Erica. Is this Eric LaChapelle just spoke?
It is.
Okay, good.
I don't believe I know any of you. I'm here for the 46 Chestnut
Right.
Street application.
all right.
This Joanne Raymond, she just got in, so we got a little business to do before your the application. Amanda's on. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Well, thank you.
I feel like I haven't seen you guys in like an eternity.
I know. What if we go back?
Well, the last time we were at a soccer practice or something, right?
Yeah, I think I missed the June meeting. So it really has been an eternity. It's been
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 months. Okay, I'm not going crazy. Yes, it was the tournament in June. Both kids were in tournaments in different places. So I had to go to, yeah, I don't know. I don't even remember why I wasn't able on Tuesday night. Oh, well.
Doesn't matter.
But yeah, soccer is a likely story for me. So
Yeah, whatever.
it was June. It wasn't hockey. It was soccer.
Okay, let's see. It's 6:59.
All right. Let me just. Yeah.
Okay, tell them we have quorum. Oh, and then Amanda's here. Hi. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
You
can
quorum.
start quorum, and I'm ready to start recording as soon as 7 o'clock hits.
6 is quorum, right?
5.
Bye.
Yeah, but 6 gets us quorum.
Oh, yes, right. We got there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Sean Keefe is on. I don't see Gabe. Joanne, is Gabe getting on or not?
Yes, I'm sure he'll be on any moment.
All right, well, we've got some business to do anyway.
Okay, I'm going to start to record.
Okay, it being 7 o'clock, I will call the Community Preservation Committee to order October 17th at 7 o'clock. Dan, if you would, the roll call, please.
Yes, let's see. I just added Sean in here. Roll call. Sean.
Present.
Present. All right. Amanda.
Present.
Loretta. Not here. Okay. Bob.
Present.
All right. Bill Doyle. Don't see him. Okay. Tom.
Present.
Dan. Oh, that's me. I'm here. Erica.
Present. And Loretta
And-
just joined.
And Justice.
I'm
Oh,
here.
and Loretta joined. Great. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm here.
Perfect. So that's great. We definitely have quorum. 8. We're good to go.
Okay, with that, Julie sent the minutes out. I hope everybody took a look at them. If they did, I would look for a motion.
So moved.
Tom, as presented, Tom,
As presented.
do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
I
I abstained. I wasn't there.
Okay, no opposed. Okay, the ayes have it. Okay, new business. The first, and again, the first thing is somebody suggested they wanted the election of officers first. So with that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Julie, our manager. Julie, are you there?
I am, yep.
Okay.
Is there a motion or actually for the 3
Nomination.
that are current?
Nomination.
Okay, does anyone nominate someone for chair?
I'd nominate Justin for chair. Nice and smooth. He probably doesn't want it, but I'll nominate him.
Do you accept that, Justin?
Sure.
Does anyone second that?
I will second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay, I'll take it over. I'll nominate the Erica for vice chair and Dan for clerk. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
You'll both do it, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do it. I'll do another year.
Okay, excellent. The motion's made. All in favor?
Aye.
Sure.
Okay, thank you both very much. Okay, now that gets us to opportunities for inclusion, 46 Chestnut Street Affordable Housing Application. I see we have several representatives from OFI. Joanne, is Gabe on yet?
I don't see him, so I will call him offline.
Well, do you want to start, and when he gets it's up, I mean, it's a pretty well written application, to be
Yeah.
quite honest with you.
So Sean Keefe is actually going to kick us off this evening. So
Perfect.
Sean can get started and I'll call Gabe.
Just to let you know, Sean, everybody has been given the application, and there's going to be, I believe there's some letters of support, and I believe the counselor, Kathy Ann Harris, is on, and she would like to speak on it also. So go ahead, Sean, you're up.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. As the chair alluded to, my name is Sean Keefe, an attorney with Connors & Connors, with offices at 689 Main Street here in Waltham. And I'm here tonight on behalf of Opportunities for Inclusion, located at 56 Chestnut Street here in Waltham. While members of the committee may be aware, for those that may be viewing now on Zoom or at a later time, Opportunities for Inclusion is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was founded as the Greater Waltham Arc over 65 years ago by local families looking to provide care and services for their loved ones with intellectual and developmental disabilities. This at a time where, many similarly affected individuals would be institutionalized. So this is an organization that has its roots in Waltham, still a very Waltham-centric organization in the clientele it serves. The organization in the city have enjoyed a very symbiotic relationship, including our longtime headquarters at 56 Chestnut Street being a city-owned building. The organization is very active in the Waltham community and enjoys tremendous support, as evidenced by the numerous letters of support that were just referenced this evening by the chair, ranging from families of clients, neighbors, to the subject property, the family who actually sold the property to Opportunities for Inclusion, and the Waltham Historical Commission. But the reason we're here this evening, we're very excited to present this proposal for a new 5-bedroom group home at 46 Chestnut Street, directly next door to our current headquarters. We anticipate that this group home will have a long-standing positive impact on the organization while addressing community needs with regards to high-quality, affordable housing, and more specifically, affordable housing for low-income individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, including autism. The group home will provide necessary services to Waltham families in need by creating an improved, affordable, fully accessible, including adaptive technology as needed, property for 5 individuals that will allow them to age in place in comfort while providing peace of mind to their families and current caregivers. Each individual living in the home will have a private bedroom, shared use of 2 fully accessible full bathrooms, and common areas such as kitchen, dining area, living areas, and exterior deck and yard space. In order to help fund the construction of this group home, and I was actually just crunching numbers quickly before I got on, as I'll get into, the existing house here is going to remain, it's according to the assessors, 2,545 square feet of finished area, and our proposed addition is nearly another 1,500. So this is a big project they're undertaking. In order to help fund the construction of this, we're requesting $1.7 million, which is roughly 50% of the proposed budget associated with this development, as we'll get into detail in a few minutes. The existing single-family home at 46 Chestnut, which Opportunities for Inclusion acquired this summer, August 1st, will remain on site. The interior, as well as exterior updates as well, but the interior will be fully renovated, and an addition consisting of 5 bedrooms and 2 fully accessible bathrooms will be built off the back of the house at the first floor level to create a fully handicap accessible community residence on one level, again, for five individuals. A new handicap accessible wraparound deck will be built around the proposed addition, connecting the existing two-story carriage house, which Opportunities for Inclusion is retaining and envisions as a future social and event space for the group home and the organization. The existing second level will also be renovated to be used as staff areas. It's actually our expectation that this group home will generate up to 20 jobs for caregivers, healthcare providers, and educators, as the residents living in the home will have habilitative and educational services provided to them to help them learn how to live independently. Again, as far as community needs, this proposal would provide 5 affordable housing units for developmentally disabled individuals, some of the most vulnerable members of society, and 5 affordable units to the city's housing stock. Opportunities for Inclusion will continue to own and manage the property, which again, for obvious reasons, couldn't be located in a better place for us. So at this time, I haven't checked so I see that we do have Gabe here. So before I go any further, I will note we do have a full team here tonight. First and foremost is Gabriel Vonleh, the CEO of Opportunities for Inclusion, who's going to speak momentarily. Melissa McGowan is the senior real estate developer from CIL, who would be able to speak to project-related questions. Eric LaChapelle is the project manager for Meyer Design Group, who will be able to speak to design questions. Bob Ginto from Opportunities for Inclusion, who's going to be able to speak to eventual operations of the home. And Joanne Raymond, our director of marketing and development at Opportunities for Inclusion. And also I note that our ward councilor, Kathy Ann Harris, Ward 8, has joined us as well. So we thank her for that. But at this time, I will invite Gabe Vonleh to say a few words just about the organization's history and mission, as well as touching on some of the reasons why OFI is looking at a proposal like this at this time.
Thank you, Sean, and to this very fine-looking committee. It's a pleasure to be here. I got to share a funny story. I almost didn't make this meeting for some reason. Dan, you did your work. For some reason, I couldn't get in with the link, but we're able to figure it out. But I'm here. I just want to give some background to. This is a historical moment for all of us as we move forward with this particular endeavor. I want to say roughly about over 65+ years ago, a group of families in the city of Waltham who did not want their children to be institutionalized or marginalized decided to come together and form this organization that we know today as Opportunities for Inclusion, formerly GWOC of Waltham. This was a major undertaking because they saw something special in their children. And back then was a very difficult time to have a child that had intellectual and developmental disabilities. But this family made a sacrifice, and today we stand upon their shoulders to do what we do. This organization has been a part of the fiber of the city of Waltham. We have been very kindly treated by the city in so many different ways. The current building that we occupy, for example, is from the generosity of the city and the people of Waltham that we have that building. So today we are here to really complete what I call the narrative of this organization. Today we are here to address some of the struggles that aging parents are having that have their loved one living with them with disabilities as they age. Any parent's concern would be, what happens to my child when I'm no longer here? And it is against this backdrop that we as an organization decided to really complete our service, the spectrum of services that we deliver. We do day services where they come in on a daily basis. We do employment. We do something called AFC, where we help pay for family to take care of their loved one at home. But this particular project where we are providing residential program is probably the most important undertaking that this organization has ever done in the many decades of existence. So I want to just say thank you for listening to us. This is also going to be something that really fulfills some of the city's need for affordable housing. It's not just affordable housing, it's changing people's life. They are going to be in a place where they're going to get to age in place. It's a lifetime commitment for us. Once they come into this building, they stay there, they age there until their final days on earth. We are going to be in a situation where we are not going to be able to do anything else with this building but to provide affordable housing. Even if we decided that we don't want to do this anymore, this house will have to be turned over for affordable housing. So it's a very unique situation for a nonprofit. And it's something that really represents a sense of pride, not just for opportunities for inclusion, but for the city of Waltham. So as we come tonight to present this, for me, it's a very personal milestone for this organization and the parents that continue to call us and say, when are we going to do this for our children? I want to be able to look them in the eyes to say that the city has done it and we have done it as a community. So this is the backdrop upon which we stand as we present this to you, that you are impacting the lives of people who are normally marginalized and they don't have their own voices, even though we teach them to advocate for themselves, but we got to stand with them. So as you listen to this, you are standing with people that usually fall in the category of the voiceless. So I stop there, and I know we have some documents that we would like to share with all of you and answer your questions today as we move forward. But I just want to thank you, and this is a personal venture for me as well. So thank you for giving us your listening ears.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from the committee?
And I had more, Mr. Chair, too, if you want me to fill in some of the gaps here before we turn it over, but we're happy to answer questions now if that's how you'd like to handle it.
What would you, go ahead, Sean. If
Just as far as the actual specs of the project, so that might answer some questions on the front end, which I'm happy to go through quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
I won't reiterate, Gabe made some great points. I'm not going to reiterate those. That's why I asked him to speak. He was fantastic as always. One thing that he maybe didn't touch on that we've touched on is, the future viability of the organization too. I mean, it's a unique situation where they very swiftly navigated the COVID pandemic and found themselves coming out in a stronger position than a lot of similarly sized organizations that were, either failing or floundering. But part of this too is also, from a business perspective, it's future revenue streams, and it's a way to stay viable and compete with larger competitors. So that's one aspect that I just wanted to touch on. He touched on a lot of the practical and human standpoints, which I think carry a lot of weight. As far as the location, I've kind of talked about, this is a very unique site for the south side. It's a large site, especially for a single or two family use. So it's going to give these folks space, as Gabe said, to age comfortably. And on a community side, Gabe and OFI have been very active in speaking with abutters and neighbors already, and they heard from some of those individuals that it's a nice house. They would have liked to seen it preserved as is, anyways. But what they didn't want to see happen was kind of a flat institutional looking building. And the organization also wants to, give these folks, as he said, it's a space to age comfortably, feel like they're in a modernized home and not a more institutional setting. The only other thing I think we really wanted to touch on is, we've really hit the ground running with this. This property came available over the summer. We jumped on it from the Nix family, and they were great to work with, but we had to make some commitments in the form of getting this property under site control. Half of the budget pretty much that you see that we submitted, it's essentially a $3.4 million budget, but half of that is essentially soft costs we've already absorbed, and the acquisition cost, which was largely a mortgage. So the portion that we're here tonight seeking from you is really the development portion. And again, we can share any of these documents, but we felt that it was important to note that in our application package, this use, the site has already been approved by the state. We've already jumped through those hoops before we filed with you guys. So the Department of Developmental Services has already viewed and approved this site for adult long-term care. There's a great write-up in there about what that entails, including the type of services they're going to be provided, the education they're provided, the staffing that this home is going to have in perpetuity, as Gabe referenced. So, with that, I don't want to bog it down much further. Locally, I already spoke with the building inspector. This use is actually regulated by the state. It's kind of subverted out of local zoning. This is allowed where we're proposing it. And dimensionally, everything we're proposing is allowed in the district. So there's no variances or, special permit relief that's needed. We've already put the project out to bid to local contractors. We're in the process of finalizing that, but we have determined our contractor. So, we really just wanted to reiterate that we've hit the ground running before we've come to you. And part of that has to do with various state programs with different incentives and subsidies that we're pursuing, an aggressive timeline to actually try to have this home occupied by the end of June 2024. So we just felt it was important to note that, but I'll cut it off there and please, we're happy to answer any questions, share any documents from our application. And as I said, we feel we have a full team here that should hopefully be able to address anything that you guys have.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you all, the team, for showing up. With that, I'm going to ask if there's any questions from the committee. No questions? Dan?
I think you did answer, I think most of the second floor, you said staff areas. Is there going to be also rooms for staff to live there also during at the time?
So my understanding, and I'll let anyone else speak here. I mean, again, it would be staffed 24 hours, but it would be staffed in shifts. So it would be more like a first shift, second shift, third shift. So there would be kind of a lounge, like rest areas, but there wouldn't be permanent occupancy up on the second floor.
Okay. And then the 20 jobs, that's the estimated of the 3 shifts for personing the facility.
Yeah, and that's going to range from registered nurses to other clinical providers to more educational providers that are going to be giving them kind of life skills classes. So it's a range of employment, and again on different shifts. So that's kind of how we get that number.
And so the monies asking for is basically to cover rehabbing the building and expanding it. I being ignorant of this type of facility or home, 5 units for clients that would be living there, that comes out to be $350,000 per person who'd be living there. Is that a kind of standard number for how build this kind of home for these kind of clients?
Yeah, I mean, I'll actually, I'll let Melissa or someone else, more.
Why don't we let Bob take that one? Because Bob is the gentleman, our expert with over close to 40 years working for the state, left the state, came to the good side now, and he can answer that question.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Why don't you take that one?
All right. So the way you have to look at it is in an urban area, it is almost impossible to create a first floor living of 5 people. All right. And so if you were to say, as a family member, how many times have you been able to go into a group home on first floor? And I'm a guardian for 12. and my person had to go to a nursing home because they couldn't live where they were in Rosendale.
Right.
Okay. So the cost in the sense of expeditiously, you're talking about a minimum of 3,200 square feet you need to have 5 people live on the first floor and not be crowded. Even be able to have family members come and visit and not feel like they're on top of each other. So I would, the part that it's exciting is that this is a group home that you would live in. Okay. There are many group homes that most of us would not live in because it's like living with 5 roommates, unrelated, crowded space. All right. And that's about how history was, because if you think about it, with deinstitutionalization, a lot of people end up in housing stock that has staired and is all small bedrooms and small space, and no one's thinking about this long-term plan. So this is a very unique opportunity. And the fact that you can actually walk or be in a wheelchair and get to Moody Street and get everything. I don't know about you guys, but if I had a son or a daughter or something like that, this is a place I want them to be. Yeah.
Okay,
Does
great.
that help answer it? Okay.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Yes.
Anyone else? Let me
Yes.
just say, Gabe mentioned if this is built with CPC money, an automatic deed restriction would go on in perpetuity anyway, just to let anybody that doesn't know. And that would be filed at the time this is approved by the city council. Anyone else?
Justin, Tommy,
Okay, Tom. Erica, you'll be next. Go ahead, Tom.
just one quick question. One of the complaints we get with group homes, and I'm grouping this together as group homes, is parking on site. Is there enough parking on site for the staff members?
This is a home
I'll
run.
answer that.
Right. Yeah. This is a home. Go ahead.
Yeah, I lived across the street for 4 years, Tom. Yeah, the driveway's, it's got a garage plus parking for 6 cars in the driveway.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, remember that our official
That's right.
headquarters is right next door
That's right.
with about at least 5 more parkings in the back. And in addition to that, we also cover staff to park in the Waltham public parking space that is literally a stone throw away. So parking
The other
is
side
not
of the
going to be an
building.
issue.
And
Yeah,
other
there's
side
also-
I had
actually, there's
40 staff.
parking on Chestnut, and there's also parking on the right side of Chestnut Street.
that's correct.
Okay, good.
So
Thank
the
you.
answer- Yeah, Erica.
Yeah, so I'm generally in favor of projects that kind of do double duty for us. So we've got the historic preservation aspect as well as the affordable housing and the sort of, as you say, caring for folks who have less voice in this community, which is important to me. Can you talk a little about the reason that you're coming in for affordable housing? And how are these going to be, on the SHI housing inventory, or is this a different category?
No,
Again,
so we one of the letters that we submitted was actually on our letterhead, but it talks about how our clients are considered basically the lowest rung, low income on the SHI scale. So yeah, no, it's my understanding that this would be fully added to the stock, and would count towards the city.
I asked because we did have an applicant actually in the end give us the money back because the housing inventory process is pretty complicated, and I didn't know if you all had factored that into your calculations.
because we actually are contracting directly with DDS.
Okay.
This is not a CDAC type project.
Okay.
However, CDAC for the other half, we'll be doing a different process with them for money 7 years from now. But DDS, it's a licensing, and they've already come out and looked at the project, and they're going to be giving us incentives to do what we can as quickly as possible.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Bob has his hand up.
Yeah, I had some questions about zoning, and I had a question about permitting, which I think between Sean and Gabriel, they pretty much answered those. And I just want to say, great presentation.
Thank you.
to go on top of that, that's one of the most impressive applications I've seen. So congratulations to all that filled it out.
We appreciate
Anybody else?
I also just want to add thank you for the multiple bids in the contract.
Yes,
Very,
definitely.
very important. Thank you.
Anyone
you.
else on the committee? Okay, the ward councilor Kathy Ann Harris is here and wants to speak in favor of it, so I recognize Kathy Ann.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all here tonight for allowing me the ability to speak, and thank you to Opportunities for Inclusion and Sean Keefe for putting together such an amazing presentation. I review a lot of permits and a lot of requests, and you guys knocked it out of the park. One thing I want to say, you guys talked a lot about the procedural aspects of creating housing, and it's not easy. That's why we have an affordable housing crisis, really not in Waltham, but across the country. I want to look at this, though, as an inspiring and an empowerment moment for this board, that you have an opportunity here tonight to empower another nonprofit to basically go out and create housing for their clients who otherwise would not only not have a voice in the community, but would not have a home. I don't consider this project a housing project. I consider it a homemaking project. And what you will build and what by empowering this organization to move forward in its procurement process is really a future in perpetuity for housing of this type, homes for this type, in a neighborhood setting close to the downtown and next to an organization that provides community love and care. And I encourage, and it sounds like there's support here tonight, but I encourage all of you to look at it in that regard. And I hope to see a positive vote here. Thank you.
Well said, Counselor. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Is there anybody else? Julie, is there anybody in the no waiting room right now? This is it.
There's an attendee. If anyone wants to
There
speak,
too.
yeah, actually one is Sean, and he's
Okay.
not in the meeting, but then there's another attendee. If they want to speak,
Do they want to speak?
make them just do a webinar chat there.
This is way over my head.
Or you could ask them to raise their hand, no?
Do we have that? Hopefully we have that on. Yeah, I guess any attendees who want to speak, raise your hand. Okay,
Nothing-
go ahead.
Oh, nothing that hasn't already been said.
Okay,
Happy
I
to see
see,
this
yeah.
moving forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Seeing no other questions or support or anybody against the project? I don't see any. Okay, with that, I would look for a motion. Not everybody at once. I mean,
I
there's
move that I need the number though. I move that we approve. or
1,700,000. 1,700,000.
$1,700,000 from our affordable housing fund to Opportunities for Inclusion. What, Dan?
I'll just amend that to approve 1,700,000.
Recommend.
Yeah.
For the application, and then we
Yep.
have to take so much out of housing, which is there's less
Right.
up
But
there. So
Got it.
we're
Oh,
gonna-
right,
we're
right,
gonna come to it'll come from the general fund, what we don't have, so.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Right. All right. Yes, what he said. I make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
I will second.
All right, Bob's seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, folks. It's now, let me just explain the process to Gabe and Sean. Well, Sean probably knows. It's got our recommendation. It will go to the council next week. And the council president will assign it to finance, I don't know,
Long-term debt.
long-term debt it'll go to. And one of Gabe or Joanne or somebody would go to long-term debt committee meeting in case they have questions, and then they would refer it out to for the full council approval, and then after that, they vote on it and you will be funded. So, any questions on that? With that, you're all set, folks. Julie will let you know.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
congratulations. In a very, I said,
Thank you.
I am so excited for it. This is a great project, so.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. This is a big
Thank
deal.
you.
We can't
Thank
thank
you.
you all enough. This is great.
Thank
And I'd be
Excellent.
remiss if, for all the great comments on the application. Big shout out to both Joanne and Melissa, who really did a ton of the legwork there. So they deserve.
Yeah,
some
they deserve a lot of credit. It was great.
Yes.
But thank you all. This is
Thank you.
much appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay.
God bless you all for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gabe.
Take care.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you for your time.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, on to the next. I just want to let everybody, it's not on the agenda, but the CRs have all been referred to and approved by the council to be filed with the state. All of the 9 that we outstanding conservation restrictions have been filed. They approved last night at council, in committee, going to council of the whole. Yes.
Great, thanks for that update. I have not had the time to read them yet. Has anybody here read them?
What the restrictions?
Yeah.
I have not seen them. It's just
I haven't seen them.
it's the mayor that.
They're online. Well, through the back a few weeks when they were brought to the council, there was links you could download them all, which I did.
Okay, and I did not read them, but
Oh, okay.
I'm trusting. It's in the city's hands. We're free as far as that's why I'm looking at it. Okay,
Well-
we have been absolved of our problem that we had. It's now with the mayor and the law department.
Well, for sure, and it has to go through the state's
Correct.
process. I was just curious, had anyone seen who were going to be the holders of the contract?
Again, I did not.
Nobody knows. Okay.
I did not.
I was meaning to read them before this meeting, but okay.
Anything? Okay, I just want to, again, that's more an FYI.
Right.
And they're all there, so that's takes care of all our new business. Old business, Hardy Pond, there no change in the Hardy. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, no change. At this point, I'd like to let it keep slide for again, because what's going on is a couple councilors put through a naming proposal through the city council for the area that's already there at the west side of Hardy Pond, essentially making it the Hardy Pond Conservation Area. Based on that was part of this application. And so until that just gets ironed out, other than that, so until that's through, I think I'd just like to let this slide at this point.
And then Julie, will you take it off the agenda for the next meetings? Then we don't have to have it on the agenda. if
Yeah.
that's the case. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
That's fine.
perfect.
Great.
Okay, the proposed CPC application, Dan?
Yeah, so I did ask what's his name? Stuart, thanks, yeah. About, adding the concept was that to changing that an application and procedure that the application would have to include for say open spaces that before that you couldn't do any work to do anything on the spaces until you had the conservation restriction, with the exception of evaluations for, say, pollution or various whatever items there, figuring out stuff, you could do that kind of work. So this is what Stuart basically said is, well, that's what's supposed to happen. So it's sort of it's making it the reason why I was pushing it forward is because we didn't have any conservation restriction going on and was hoping to make it clear in the application process to have that a part of up front so applicants know what's going on, and which meant including the city, who has, not put on CRs for stuff. Thank goodness there's movement now happening. So at this point, why don't we can take that off the at the moment. I'm not saying I'm not going to want to bring it back, because we'll see how these conservation restrictions go. But at this point, it's not having it on the repeating. It's fine with me.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Julie, we take that off too, please?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, and then Julie sent out the outstanding projects. I just want to I wanted to do the last two things, update you on the projects that are completed, which there are some on here, what's outstanding, and there are a couple of old ones, and there are a couple, at least one did not get a response, just to let everybody know as far as what their status is, and they've been reached out to a couple of times. So that I'm not sure what's going to happen with, and that's the that is the Medfern Cemetery. So so anyway, that's just an update on that. Lastly, I just wanted everybody to have the balance as of October 1st, and that's open space is $1,799,154.46. Historical is wiped out with Arrigo Farms. Housing is $1,292,014.58, and the undesignated, or what I call our general fund, is $5,953,554.87 for a total of $9,044,723.91. And that is where we stand as of October 1st. Any questions, suggestions? Go ahead.
It's soon that we'll be hearing some that the money.
We'll be getting our allocation. This is to October 1st. We're also going to hopefully have our meeting where we can vote accept the money from the state. It comes in November. So
right.
Okay. Again, any more on that? Anybody? Questions, suggestions, comments? Our next meeting is November
21st.
21st.
With that, I would look for a motion, and I want to thank everyone for their attendance and participation. And I want to thank Dan and Julie especially. Motion to adjourn? Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, good, Tom. Wait a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you all very, very much. I appreciate it. Have a great month, and I'll see you November 23rd. What?
Justin, we're happy when you're playing golf, okay?
I tee off tomorrow at 7:46.
I don't want you to get burnt, you know what I mean, baby?
Yeah, I hear you.